Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Bruins podcast. My name is Stevie, and I am joined by the effervescent.
Effervescent. Fun one.
I
Hi, guys. I'm
know.
Kyle.
Um,
Did someone leave that one, or are you making one up?
no, I was looking into SAT words. That popped up.
Well,
So
the
we had a fun,
Bruins aced their SATs over the weekend.
good Kyle. That was great.
I know. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
but did we? We'll get into it. Yep.
A mixed bag a little bit, but a lot to be proud of, a lot to look at and
Yeah.
improve upon. Obviously, always. I mean, Corey's literally never happy. So,
Yeah. Honestly, this time of year, Kyle, I think we both know this. I think every coach in the country knows this. As long as you win, who cares? Who cares?
I know it can
On
be
to
by
the
one, or it can be
100.
100. It can be on a double overtime buzzer beater. It doesn't
That
matter.
can,
Just
yeah.
win.
Um, yeah, I think we did okay. Just high level. In case you're not familiar, UCLA did advance to the Sweet 16 for the what is it now?
Fourth
Fourth
year in a
year
row.
in a row? Yep, fourth year in a row.
Sweet 16
Um,
exit to South Carolina, Kiki's freshman year, exit to LSU sophomore year. Obviously made it to the Final Four last year and lost to UConn, and now we're
and
we're
this
on one last journey with
this
them.
year remains to be seen. But Kyle, we actually began our journey this year uh, to return to the Final Four against a familiar opponent in the first round, didn't we?
Yeah, Cal Baptist. We played them 2 years ago as a two seed. We can get into that game over here. We pull up the box score.
So, this game was interesting because it was way closer than I think anyone expected in the first half. Would you
Yeah,
agree with that?
I agree. I think it took us a minute to adjust. Also UCLA notoriously we play really poorly after long breaks.
Yeah, that's true.
And this was our longest break of the year, I think. It was almost 2 weeks.
It was almost 2 weeks. I mean, obviously, everyone had the same amount of break if you're a power four. But after we got our legs going, it seemed kind of locked in. I don't know what was said at halftime. Corey did say that she didn't really say anything. The team knew because you can see the scoreboard and you know how good you are. And then, Kyle, that second half, the defense went crazy.
Yeah, really, really high level in that second half. Uh, Unfortunately, didn't really carry over to our next matchup. But
No,
anything
but
stand out to you really from this game?
uh, going through the thing. No, I mean, we kind of just played normal. After the first half, it was just a normal game, right?
Right. I mean, Sienna had her first collegiate double double, which is really
Yes.
cool. On 5 for 12, it was a lot of me bounds. She's going to be the queen of that next year.
Yeah.
Um, but really proud of her for that too. Angela and Lauren also had double doubles in this game.
Three with double
Really
doubles.
great showing for both of them. This was a really balanced game across the board for most of us.
Yeah, one thing we did well, Kiki specifically, is Kiki got to the line a bunch.
Hmm.
I like it. I love it when she's getting to the line.
Absolutely, and she did that in the next round too.
Yeah, she's been doing it. I think her being healthy
Has
just makes her
really
feel
contributed to her confidence and her ability to drive down
to
the hill.
drive. Exactly. I was going to say the
She
exact same thing.
kind of went away from it a lot last year,
A
actually.
lot.
You didn't see the same confident
Mhm.
sophomore year Kiki you saw, but that Kiki's back improved better than ever. I will say you didn't see it. She took one in this game, but it was a half court heave. Um, Kiki hasn't been taking as many threes as she was taking most of the season. She didn't
No,
take
her.
any regular threes in this game or in the Oklahoma State game, I don't think.
I'll have it up right now. Let me see if she took any in the Oklahoma State game. Because she took zero threes in the Oklahoma
Yeah.
State game. Yeah, she did.
I don't know if that's intentional or they were doing a really good job on 3 point defense. I know we're kind of mashing between the two games here, but
Yeah, but if you're listening, you likely know the result.
yeah.
So it's no
So,
surprise. What about you? Anything that stand out to you from this CBU game?
no, I mean, we didn't quite cover the spread. It was 54.5, the betting line. But, 53 is a blowout win, a huge success. There was a good crowd in Poly. I think the crowd might have been bigger than it was for round two. Don't fact check me on that. I don't know for sure. I don't know if attendance numbers are in here, are they? Oh, 7,250 versus
See, dun, 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 dun.
6,114. So we actually
Okay,
had more
Kyle.
people at our
Kyle
first
has a
round
good
game.
good eye. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I don't have a guess of why that might be.
but in these two games, we've had different people stepping up. I that's what I really like to see. Kiki had a great game round one, and Lauren had a really great game. Lauren had a great game both rounds, but we had Gabs had a great game here, and Gianna not have as great a game. But then Gianna really stepped up in the second round game.
Yeah, should we just hop over to that box score,
Yeah,
talk about?
absolutely.
And I think just start off with the big one. Lauren set a career high in her final game at Pauley.
And not just that, Lauren Betts had a really, really great game. She shot over 80% from the field, basically. Um, Lauren Betts shot so well and had set a career high on her final shot in Poly Pavilion.
She sure did. Yeah, just storybook stuff. Also, the rest of her stat line also insane. 9 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal and a block. She was doing it all. It was very much a stat
And
sheet
that
stuffer
block was
game. But
cinema. I don't have it right now.
yes,
Um, I don't
no,
remember
I
who
know what you're.
posted it. I have it like right here. If I can pull it up, I'll get it. But
Yeah, the guard was dribbling all around the
yeah,
basket and like really trying to lose her, and then just throws it up, and Lauren says, "No, no."
it was
Uh,
so funny.
it was funny. Anything else from this game? I'm just looking. Let's. Gianna made 3 threes. Her threes were like really good too. They were.
Yeah, they were good ones. She was 3 for 6 from three, 50%. That's all we need from her.
Yeah, some catch and shoot, some off the dribble. I like that variety from her.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one off the Lauren assist on the sideline out of bounds.
yeah.
That was a
Um,
really nice one.
and I'm glad that we're doing that so much with her because in the bigger games, she's going to be getting so many things ran for her on out of bounds plays. So
Yeah,
we need her to be practicing those. And she is. Lena Bilic, both of her threes also like
she is
she,
waking up. She had one in the Cal Baptist game too, and of course she had the two in the Iowa game.
yeah,
Waking up at the right time.
absolutely.
And even Sienna, I mean, she only had 3 points here, but she was not lost out there last night. I don't think. I think that there was a level of physicality allowed by the refs that hasn't quite been the way we've played most of the season. Um, just so everyone knows, I think the refereeing in this game was absolute trash. It was so bad.
I have not gone back and looked, but I do see they had a player foul out. Um,
Yeah,
Acott, who was their best player of the night,
they had
did foul
16
out.
fouls called on them. We only had 12 called on us.
Yeah, and the line, we were at the line way more.
Yeah. Um, Ashel Akhat is a really good player for Oklahoma State, though, and not a senior, so they've got some more time with her, as well as Jaden Wooten off the bench for 18 points. That girl's a
Yeah,
mid-range assassin. Like
9 for 18.
she was getting whatever she wanted.
Yeah, she had also had 6 assists on the
Six
day.
assists, 3 rebounds, only 2 turnovers, 1 steal. Really great stat line.
One thing that they did really well, Oklahoma State, they didn't beat themselves. They really made us beat them.
I would agree. This was the most competitive 1 versus 8 or 9 matchup in
Oh,
the
for
country.
sure. The
And
other ones were
I
not.
think that has a lot to do with the fact that I think Oklahoma State is better than those other 8, 9 seeds. But shout out to JC Hoyt. She's a really great coach. She does a great job with them. They've got a
She
bright
does.
future over there, and I think they're in Stillwater, right?
They are Stillwater,
There
yes.
we go.
Um, yeah, anything else stand out from this game before we go to a little bit of the bracket?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so
Anything for
either. I
you?
No, just that neither of us, both of us knew this was a weekend where we were going to go 2-0. We were going to advance. So it wasn't, it was,
And I don't want to say that to like discredit the opponents because I think
yeah,
that both of them are very accomplished teams. They did very well in their conferences. They had really, really great years. UCLA and all of the one seeds, albeit, are just on a complete other like planet from all the other teams right now. And I think you can lump LSU in with that group too. They had a really, really good weekend.
they did. Um,
Yeah. So you want to jump over and look at the bracket?
let's look at the bracket.
All
We talk
right.
about a little bit about what happened and then a little bit about what's coming up.
Well, don't look
Um,
at my bracket. This is not my bracket, but my bracket is shattered after this
Shattered.
weekend.
Worse than busted.
I picked some upsets that didn't happen, and that's okay. Whatever. But
Yeah.
my national champion is still intact, so
Uh, and who'd you pick to do that?
I will not publicly say that.
I won't. Okay.
Um,
Revealing your vote. Um, I think the most notable thing was Virginia upsetting Iowa at Iowa,
yeah.
double digit
Where
seed
is that on here?
in
That's going to
on
be
the bottom.
down in
Yeah,
Sacramento 4, I think, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's down in the bottom left.
Kimora Johnson is just a really, really good player.
She was great. I was actually at work when that game was going on, so I couldn't
Oh,
pay super close attention. And I'll say when I was watching, I turned the game off when the second flagrant was called against Virginia because I was like, this is surely done.
and also like
Um,
that flagrant was such BS.
I don't know if I agree with it either, but then it somehow kept going. That was probably the best game of the tournament so far. Did you get to watch the whole thing, Kyle,
I
or
did
what?
get to watch the whole thing. I was in my partner's office, and yeah, it was a really, really good game, all the way down
Yeah,
the stretch until the last minute or so when Virginia finally pulled away.
pulled away.
But
Uh,
I, and to anyone who thinks like that playing these games back to back and all that like affects you, talk to Kimora Johnson. She played every minute of all three games they played this week.
this is the first four team to ever make the Sweet 16.
Yeah, incredible. They have a really bright future at Virginia, I think. That coach went from being on the hot seat to contract extension.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she earned
Yeah,
herself a couple more
absolutely.
years. Other good games. Our
I,
opponent coming up, Ole Miss, Minnesota was a great game.
yeah, I mean, TCU Washington
That was a great one. I did get to watch
in
that full game.
overtime. I was pulling for Washington. I had that on my bracket. It didn't happen, but man, do they have a solid foundation going forward for the coming years.
They
Bryn
do.
McGoy is going to be a star.
He's a great player. She really is. And they're young. Like you just mentioned it, they're a young team.
Yeah,
So
staying down here in the
so
bottom, Oklahoma Michigan State was a really good game until about the last minute when Oklahoma finally, you know, pulled away a little bit and managed to create enough separation to finish
they
that one out.
did. Directly
Kentucky
across
West
from them.
Virginia came
Yep.
down to the last 0.2 seconds.
I know. It really looked
I
like
thought West Virginia had it when they scored the last time, and then Kentucky went to the other end and did what they do, and that's that. Another really good one was Alabama Louisville. I
that
think we didn't see a lot of upsets, but we did see a lot more close games than we've seen in the past, I think.
yeah, I always say this about the women's tournament. It's much harder to get upsets because like Louisville was at home, right?
But I
TC was
also
at
don't think
home.
like the game is in the place where it is with the men's game where it can go to a neutral site and sell out.
No, I agree. I
And so like
actually
I
like
get it is harder. Like yeah, Ole Miss, like you were saying, our opponent up here, Ole Miss did in fact lose to Minnesota at Minnesota in a packed barn. That
yeah,
place
that's a
was rocking.
great
Um,
crowd.
yeah, maybe the best crowd of the tournament.
Yeah,
And
they were
like
locked in.
you want to say that it's impossible, like you want to say it's hard to go win in those environments. Well, Virginia did it in
Virginia
probably the
did do
best
it.
environment in the country.
Yeah.
One of them, at least. I mean, South Carolina has an argument there, sure. But Iowa is one of the best attended teams in the country. They sell out their season tickets, they sell out their games. And Virginia went in there and handed it to them.
He didn't care. They kept coming back. There were a couple times where it looked like they were going to be out of it. Iowa was going to pull away, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really, really impressed with that Virginia team. And I actually think they can win the TCU matchup. Because why not?
Why not? Yeah, they just beat a team of similar caliber. Should we talk about some of these Sweet 16 matchups?
Yeah, I would say the one we didn't touch on was Notre Dame over Ohio State.
Yes,
That's the
that's a
only really
yeah,
notable other upset here, and I actually think it creates a really interesting matchup. We'll start our Sweet 16 there in
for sure.
Fort Worth 1 with Notre Dame Vanderbilt. Two teams that are, I think, pretty similar to me.
Similar. That's what I was going to say.
Like, they
Yeah,
both have a star vehicle, and Vanderbilt has a little more help around their star vehicle, right?
a point guard, a really good point guard
Yeah.
around it, and obviously Notre Dame's is a point guard,
Hmm.
so it's a little different.
And then Justine Passat is also
Facade,
really good for Vanderbilt. However,
even
I think these Notre Dame players have started to step up at the right time. You know, they
yeah.
were never bad pieces that they went and got in the portal. They were
No,
just
I
like,
agree.
meh. But like, Kassan Prosper is a Canadian Olympian. There's no
Yeah,
reason
she's
she should not be able to contribute on this Notre Dame team consistently.
Neil Ivy. Like honestly, what could have been. I did not expect them. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I did not expect them to make a Sweet 16. So
I thought they might lose to Fairfield.
that's what I thought too. Um,
And, you know, Neil Ivy, notoriously the last couple of years, has had her Sweet 16 exit with rosters that are more than talented enough to go further than that.
much further.
Oh, sorry, my cat is yelling.
That's okay.
I'm
Let
not
them.
sure
Well,
why,
they want
but
to pitch in. They have an opinion on Vanderbilt Notre Dame, of course.
absolutely. Um, but I think these pieces around Hannah Hidalgo have started to figure it out at the right time, maybe. And I don't know that I would bet on them to beat Vanderbilt, but I would expect this big game to be a lot more competitive than it might seem like it would be.
I agree. I think another super evenly matched one is Duke LSU. That's a rematch from
And
earlier in the year.
Duke is a much better team than the first time they played LSU. I picked Duke in my bracket. I'm an LSU hater. Sorry, LSU fans. I'm
Really?
not, but.
Uh,
So I think it could go either way, honestly. I think Duke's defense is a lot better than it was at that time, even though their defense hasn't been the problem all year. I think their offense is significantly better.
yeah. I'm actually surprised that Duke is an 8 point favorite in that. That surprises me.
Is
I
that how
thought
that
that
works? I thought LSU was the favorite.
oh
LSU
they are.
minus 8.5.
Yeah, yeah. I misspoke. I misspoke.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's going to be a closer game. I would be surprised if that one ends up near a 10-point game.
sure. Um,
Some of the more boring ones, I think, not
UConn,
this is
North Carolina, I don't think is going to be competitive.
yeah, I don't think Texas Kentucky is going to be particularly close. You might disagree with me on that,
While we're
but
up here, ours I don't think is going to be over. We're an 18.5 point favorite. That's about what we won by the first time. I'm expecting a similar margin. Either
I
that
would
or it'll be like the Iowa game and we'll figure it out and bury them. But I'm
bury
not
them.
expecting that. I think Minnesota's a very good team. They're very well coached. They have a lot of really talented pieces. They just got to put it together at the right time. I do think we'll
And
win.
they're
I
riding
just
momentum
don't think we'll
too.
blow them out.
They have all the momentum in the world. Uh, I will say, I saw a lot of people online saying that Ole Miss was going to give UCLA a game. And
Well, they tried to give
now look,
Minnesota a game and it didn't work out.
didn't work out.
I want to say I have the utmost respect for Coach Yo after the way she treated us in the press conference last year.
Mhm.
After they lost to us, she was super complimentary, super respectful. I think she runs her program the right way. So I don't have anything against Ole Miss, but yeah, those people who were talking crazy online, I hope you feel good about
I
yourself.
hope you feel great because you jinxed them. Um,
Moving down
yeah,
to the bottom, South Carolina, Oklahoma.
rematch again.
Can Lightning strike twice?
I don't think so.
I think like you know what I like. I was listening to Gower Hour on her hoop stats earlier, and great podcast over there for anyone else who wants to check that out. They do a really good job. But Oklahoma kind of played an A+ game the first time they played South Carolina, and South Carolina played a C game.
Yeah, I mean, it
You
went to
know,
overtime, obviously,
Raven
and Chavez.
Johnson and Joyce Edwards and Tanaya Latson were like 4 for 22 from the field.
They both really
Is that
good
going to happen
too.
again? That's the game where Medina Okote was taken out of the starting lineup shortly after because she was struggling. And then you look at like things just didn't go well in that game for South Carolina. And I think it was at Oklahoma, wasn't it?
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
So this is a neutral site. South Carolina fans travel really, really well. So I'm expecting a heavy Gamecock crowd. I might be in attendance, in which case I will be rooting for South Carolina. I really like Dawn Staley. I think they do a great job over there. They built an unrivaled culture, quite honestly.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure Lightning can strike twice. But
mm,
also, Oklahoma has the added element of hope because they've done it.
yeah, they can look at the tape. They can feel confident because they already did it. Uh, they've been here before. Aside from Chavez, who has big game experience in other ways, this Oklahoma team has been in this situation before. A four versus a one. Uh, last year, UConn was a two, but you get what I mean.
And they were up on UConn at the half in that game.
They were, and then
And
Paige
then
Becker
Paige
said
Becker
not
stormed
today.
back to score 40 points or whatever. And another thing that they were saying on that podcast I was listening to, you know, I and we had this happen with Lauren last night. This is the time of year where you have to be willing to not be selfless. You have to be
Yeah,
willing to be selfish to win
exactly. If
games.
you're hot, you score. Uh, you don't
And
pass anything
I
up.
think that is maybe what hurt us a little bit in that Oklahoma State game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? Lauren at 35. So
No,
how?
I know. But like our other players, I think we're a little too selfless.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's a area of concern. This kind of falling back on what we did last year around this time, but hopefully they can come out of that. Hopefully it's just a one-time thing.
Yeah, and we'll know quickly. We're gonna play hopefully 2 games this weekend, and hopefully
Yeah.
two more beyond that. But any other games stick out down here to you? I think
I mean, but
TCU
the
Virginia
only
can be a real game. We were talking about that.
yeah, the only one we haven't talked about is Louisville, Michigan.
Oh, you mentioned Texas Kentucky, but we didn't talk about it.
Oh, that's right.
I
Uh,
disagree with you. I think it can be a game.
you think it'll be a game? Tony Morgan,
Well,
Claire
do you
Strack?
remember that game about a month ago?
Not really. How'd that one go?
Well, Kentucky only lost by 9.
I think I wouldn't be
Weren't they
surprised
up
if
on Texas too, like partway through the game? I don't have the box
they
score, but
they very well may have been.
I was walking home from work and we were on the phone and you were talking about it. Um, but Madison Booker only had like one shot go down in that game.
Yeah, she'll have games like that though. She will. Uh,
But she'll also have games like versus Oregon where she drops 40.
yeah, that was insane. I had someone who was a Oregon fan was talking to me, and they were like, "If they're making threes like that, they are
It's going to be
not getting beat."
hard to beat them. I agree. I also think they're the 1 seed most vulnerable to being upset before the Final Four.
I think so too. I mean, they don't have the same path that we do. Like, I do think they
It's
have an easier
easier. I
path,
agree. But like
but
Michigan's been right with all those 1 seeds all year long.
they have been. But I
They've
still can't take the
played 2
Iowa
of them within
losses out of my
3.
head. Uh,
Um, Texas is. I don't want to say they're a tier below because they beat us. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's like what they've put out since then feels like it hasn't been as good as what UConn and UCLA have put out.
I agree. The consistency hasn't been as dominant.
And Michigan was performing at that tier right below UConn and UCLA when they played UConn and UCLA.
They did, and if they can do it again when it matters most, Michigan
But
in the Final
that Michigan
Four.
team is really young
That's true,
and has
and they
little tournament. I mean, last year they lost in the second round to Notre Dame, so they've never been further than this weekend.
And they got to get past Louisville first.
Oh, which is gonna Jeff Walls in March,
Yeah, great coach. Um,
really good coach.
Another young team though, another very young team.
I would give Michigan the better chance to upset Texas than I would Louisville, though.
I would agree.
And I
I
don't know
think
why,
Louisville.
because I think Jeff Wallace is a really great coach and will have a great game plan against Vic Schaefer. But
Yeah,
I think Michigan has maybe the better players suited to do it.
I think Louisville would have a hard time scoring against Tennessee. Or I'm
Texas,
sorry, Texas. Yeah.
well, Tennessee, if we want to talk about a flame
Uh,
out.
Poor Kim Caldwell. 8 game losing streak to end the year.
Uh, we'll see if she makes it to next year.
Yeah, we will. We will. Okay, but should we pick some of these games? All and by
Yeah,
some of
sure.
them, I mean all
Oh,
of them.
oh. Um, we'll start down here. TCU Virginia.
Give me. I'm going TCU. I'm not picking the 10 seed into the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I'm going TCU too. Mark Campbell took TCU to the Elite Eight last year over Notre Dame, and
Yeah,
that's how he got Olivia Miles to
that's how I got
TCU.
her.
Olivia Miles is going to be the best player on the floor in this matchup. Olivia Miles is also going to be the best player on the floor in what will likely be the next matchup versus South Carolina.
Probably. I mean,
Which is going to, I don't know that I think TCU can compete with South Carolina.
and that's who you're picking in Oklahoma, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to pick South Carolina as well. Uh, and then I do think that South Carolina is way too much for TCU.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They've had their noted struggles this year. I think TCU is better than Oklahoma, and Oklahoma beat South Carolina.
I don't know. Do you think if
Well, I think
TCU
they're
and
in
Oklahoma
the.
played,
Here's the thing. It's like there's that tier below the like national championship contenders, where
yeah,
it's like
with
everyone
a
is
bunch
just
of teams?
there.
Yeah,
And I think Oklahoma and TCU are in the same tier. I think TCU has played consistently better than Oklahoma, but Oklahoma has had higher highs.
I agree. Probably just because playing in the SEC, you get more of a
Yeah,
chance
sure.
to have those highs. Um,
So
yeah,
South
what do
Carolina
you,
TCU, we'll leave that there. We'll come back for a lead in a second.
well,
Um, Louisville, Michigan.
I don't know. It's so hard because they're both such guard heavy teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think I give the edge to Michigan here.
I'm going to be different. I'm going to say Louisville just to be
Okay.
different. Um, Texas, Kentucky,
Texas.
Texas. You're higher on Kentucky than I am.
I don't know. I just think they have Tiani Key back now. They're a much better team with her. They played really well week one. Their problem in the SEC tournament was playing multiple games in a row because they had to play the first day.
They did have to do that.
Um, when you don't have to do that, when you get a break day in between, I don't think depth is a problem for them.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm excited for
I don't
the.
think Kentucky will win, but
You think it'll
I
be close?
would not be overly, utterly shocked if it happened. But I don't think it's going to. I'm picking Texas.
All right, Texas.
Up to the
Texas to
top.
the Elite Eight for 3 years in a row.
Notre Dame Vandy.
Vanderbilt. I'm still a denier. I have to see more. I have to see Notre Dame do it 100 times before I
No, I
believe it.
agree. I would also pick Vanderbilt at this point. But if there's one thing I'll say, it's that, Hannah Hidalgo has experience in these big moments. The
She
other
does.
teams, other members of that team are also people who have experience in those big moments. De Jesus is from Duke, who made it to the Elite Eight
Mhm.
last year. They've got other transfers. They've got Iona Moore from Vanderbilt, which could
Oh,
make this
Vanderbilt.
interesting.
Oh my God! A little bit of a revenge game going
Yeah.
on.
Vandy
Oh,
has no players who have been past the first round of the NCAA tournament before this year.
no, they lost to Oregon
Oh,
last year in the
Jacqueline
first
and
round.
Wanatonda went to the Final Four last year.
Gwen and Tanda. That's right. We're
And
still.
Del Rosario went to
I always
the
forget
Elite
they
Eight.
have her. I always forget they have her. Um,
So I guess there's that. But Notre Dame has the experience here that Vandy doesn't. And that also means that Neil Ivey has the experience here that Shea Ralph doesn't as a coach. Shea Ralph, as a player, played at UConn, has that experience, of course.
for sure.
But
Speaking of,
it could be more interesting than you think. I'm gonna pick Vandy, but I think it'll be a game.
well, other side of that region, UConn.
I think they're gonna steamroll.
Yeah, I can't see them playing a game within 10 points until the Final Four.
I agree.
All right,
Um,
moving right along.
Duke
Should we start
LSU.
with our? I don't know. I want to pick Duke so bad, but I
I
don't
picked
want
them in my
to.
bracket. I don't know how I feel about it. It might just be the hater in me. It might
Yeah,
not.
might be hopiuming.
Um, I'm gonna stick with Duke, but I will not be shocked if it's LSU.
I, hmm, I'm gonna go with LSU. They've been there, done that.
Okay.
I know Duke's been there too, but LSU just has. It's Kim Mulkey. I'm not counting her out. You
And
know,
UCLA, Minnesota. I'm gonna pick UCLA.
I'm gonna pick UCLA.
I
Should
think
we?
Minnesota will give us a great game for 3 quarters, and then they won't be able to keep up.
Yeah, I could see it going something like that.
Um, while we're talking about this, though, this is the last game we can afford to play like we did in these first 2 rounds.
Yes. Yep. This is it. This is
Because
this is
after that, you play like you played against Oklahoma State, you're gonna lose to LSU or Duke.
you're gonna get. Oh, you they'll make so many
Maybe not
shots.
Duke, but you're gonna lose to LSU.
For sure.
Kim Mulkey is a great coach. Maybe not a good person, but great coach.
Oh gosh.
Um, yeah,
Should we pick? Should we pick the Elite Eight?
yeah. Let's start at the bottom. So you picked Louisville. I picked Michigan. Uh, who are you picking
I'm
versus
still picking
Texas?
Texas, so it doesn't matter who they play for me.
Well, I'm gonna be bold. I picked Michigan in my bracket. I think they're gonna get over them.
Michigan to the Final Four for
I don't
Cal.
feel good about it, but I'm doing it.
Um, all right,
South
other
Carolina,
side,
TCU.
South Carolina.
Yeah, me too.
Back to other
UConn,
side,
Vanderbilt.
UConn.
I think that could be a disgusting game. I will not lie to you.
You mean with UConn
Yeah,
completely? Yeah.
like put AZ on Aubrey Galvin, let her lock her up. Put Sarah Strong on Michaela Blake's.
I mean, look what
And
South Carolina
who
did
else
to
is
them.
doing anything?
No, I agree.
It's gonna
All
be
right,
that could be really nasty. Um,
you
UCLA, Duke LSU.
UCLA.
I am picking UCLA, but
Yep.
that's the caveat that we show up.
Yeah, and I mean it's the best game of the Elite Eight. It will be the best game of the Elite Eight.
Oh, I think you're
Um,
right. Yeah. Well, Texas, Michigan could be really good.
yeah, Texas, whoever that could be, and I do feel I have this like sneaky suspicion either Vanderbilt and UConn or South Carolina. Who did they play?
TCU.
TCU could be like close, randomly close.
Interesting. Yeah,
But
that's
I'm gonna
probably like it's one of those like the game could go like two ways. Like it could be a complete blowout, like nasty level, or it could be really close.
really close. Yeah. But I think LSU. We just had neither LSU or Duke. I don't think they had the consistency to beat UCLA.
Well, we'll come back and find out who our final four is next week.
We will
Do you want to talk about the Minnesota matchup really quickly?
just. We already played them, so we know what it's going to look um, like scheme wise, unless Minnesota really tries to change something up, because Kiki had a great game against them last time. Uh, so they're probably going to focus a little bit more on Kiki, which
I will
will
say I
only
don't think Tori McKinney played the first time we played.
okay. What's her numbers?
12.9 per game.
Yeah, so I mean,
3 rebounds,
maybe
2.6 assists, 2 steals, zero point 0.5 blocks.
yeah. Did not remember that. So
She was their best
maybe
guard, I think, basically. Yeah, well, she's their leading scorer, and she didn't play the first time we played.
you're right. Well, maybe, and it was at their place, so this will be a more of a UCLA home
I have
game.
to say, I was watching that Ole Miss game, and I thought Tori McKinney was a Maya battle.
Oh, I don't know them that well, so I
They
probably would have done
kind
the
of look a
same thing.
little similar. They don't look enough similar for me to think that, But like I didn't even because she didn't play the first time, and I haven't watched a lot of Minnesota, so
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was. I was like, wow, she's everywhere.
There's why there are two of her. Uh, all right.
But yeah,
But
I think it'll be a game for like 2.5, 3 quarters, and then UCLA does what UCLA does and goes on to win by
agree.
15.
Well, I'm excited. I'm nervous, but excited. What are your feelings?
I'm excited, and then I will be immediately nervous the second we hopefully beat Minnesota.
I have a
Um,
good feeling though, Kyle. I think we're gonna be fine.
I think I'll be there in person, potentially. So that should be fun. Boots on the ground.
It's on the ground.
Um, it's been a really fun season, no matter what happens
Yeah.
going forward. Barring we beat Minnesota, I think we're gonna have an episode on Saturday for you guys.
Yes. But in
Um,
betweener.
the in betweener. We'll have a gymnastics episode coming out soonish. And I think
Soonish.
we're going to do a softball episode right before this Nebraska series coming up, which should be fun.
Number
Softball's been
7.
killing it.
They've been killed. We're on a huge winning streak. We're run ruling everyone.
Yeah, really impressive. Anything else you want to mention quickly?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Wrap
thank
it
you
on
guys
that.
so much for tuning into this episode of the Bruins podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Leave all your hate, your vitriol, your love and support in the comments, and Stevie will reply to you. And please leave your adjectives because
We're still
we're getting
waiting for
low.
adjectives.
Stevie didn't pass his SATs, so
God. Hey, that's not a pass fail, okay?
no, I'm kidding. I'm sure Stevie did great on his SATs.
For sure. All right, everybody.
um, well,
Goodbye.
thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, night, whenever you're listening.